15 years back, we wouldn't have even had a list of Android games with amazing graphics, but rest assured a lot's changed over the last decade and a half, and now we've got the privilege of playing some amazing games on our handheld devices. As we approach the end of the year, let's take a look at some incredible games that are currently out there with amazing graphics. Here's our list of the 10 best Android games with amazing graphics. When speaking about underrated mobile MMORPGs, you gotta mention Black Desert. There are a wide variety of MMOs on mobile to play right now, but our pick of the lot is this one, with most people commending its graphics for being extraordinary, and we gotta agree. Black Desert might seem like your average MMO, but what it does with its gameplay, it certainly does the same to its graphics. Black Desert is slowly and steadily reaching solidarity with its fanbase, but it still seems to be thoroughly overshadowed by the several others out there in the market right now. Black Desert for mobile is a good looking game, and one of the most noticeable features of the game is its fantastic graphics. Black Desert Mobile is just easily one of the most demanding mobile games around as well, as it's compatible with phones released only from the past 4 years and requires an above average system, making it challenging for players with older phones. However, players who have a phone with great specs should definitely try this title out, not only for its graphics, but for the overall MMO experience the game has to offer. The Genshin Legends games aren't well known, but they really should be, considering that they're amongst the most beautiful games on mobile platforms. Bright Ridge and its sequel Vangelis are open-world RPGs set in beautifully designed fantasy worlds that are commended for their intricacies and in-depth world. The settings of these games allows players with lower spec phones to tweak graphic aspects, bringing out the best for performance, but if you're the kind of person with a fancy gaming phone, then crank everything up to maximum and see how wonderful Genshin Legends really is. Both games also come with an exploration mode tailor-made for adventurers and explorers alike, where players don't really need to worry about enemies and can just enjoy the scenic landscapes of this open world. The game also adds a photo mode to capture the best of what the world has to offer, and trust me, you're going to be using that feature quite a bit. The Asphalt series has always been known for its graphical prowess, and Asphalt 9 Legends is no different, pushing the graphical capacity on mobile devices as far as possible. HDR graphics and up to 60 frames per second are just two of the most prominent features amongst others that make this game one of the best looking and best playing racing games on mobile right now. There's a whole bunch of content as well, with over 50 different cars and 800 different events, as well as career and multiplayer modes. The game also gets regular seasonal updates and additions, which will definitely keep you busy while you're enjoying those amazing graphics.
Net safety is never guaranteed.
Call of Duty is one of the most popular franchises of all time, and when Activision released their first stint into mobile gaming back in 2019, players, they just couldn't wait. Within just about a year, it had a massive 270 million downloads and picked up awards for the best mobile game at both the BAFTAs and Game Awards, accolades only a few games have received before this one. Just like other games on this list, you'll need one of the latest phones, but if you're lucky enough to have one, you can expect up to 120 frames per second, HDR, and other grand features that make the game look phenomenal. For players without a fancy phone, you can also lower the quality of the graphics to try and up the frames per second. The overall quality might not be on par with what it's supposed to be, but it really helps you maneuver the game. You won't find many better looking fighting games than Shadow Fight 3. The game plays well and has some decent RPG features that really shine in its beautiful visuals. From customizable player-based visuals to unique weapons and unlockable equipment and skills, this game's got a lot for players to do. With over 3 million reviews on the Play Store, this game has an average rating of 4.3 stars, and many of those reviews have been solely for how wonderful the game looks and plays. When talking about settings, this game does need a high-end phone, and having one would do you wonders. If you don't, then you'll need to crank down a lot of the settings, because this game employs a lot of new HDR and bloom visuals which can only be played on better spec phones. There are visual modes up to 1440p and 60 frames per second, which certainly are redefining the fighting genre in mobile games. Oh, hello. How's it going? The first Dead Trigger was an average zombie shooter that didn't really do well amongst fans of the genre, solely because players had seen enough zombie shooting games out there. Even though many had negative things to say about the game, everyone did agree on the fact that the game for its time did look incredible. Enter Dead Trigger 2. This game's visuals absolutely blew its predecessor out into space. It's easily one of the most demanding mobile games of all time in terms of graphics, and players with high-end phones should really give this game a go. Crank up all the settings to max and enjoy the gory zombie shooting arcade that is Dead Trigger 2. Real Racing's third installment really upped the ante when it came to graphics. The franchise is tailor-made for people who wanted a good real racing simulator, and the third edition really put it up there amongst the best. The game's all about an authentic racing experience with real racetracks, cars and drivers. If you're into Formula 1, then this is the game for you. One of the game's biggest draws is its patented time-shifted multiplayer algorithm, which generates fully interactive opponents based on other players' results, as opposed to just regular computer-generated opponents. The graphics on this game are what really stand out. They're incredible, boasting realistic damage on cars and functional rear view mirrors. This game is for an elite simulation experience. Shadowgun Legends is another fantastic shooter that will really test your mobile phone to its limits. It's the third installment in the Shadowgun trilogy, and each of the games has been award-winning. It's not hard to see why it's revered to be one of the best, and when you play it on a high-end phone, that's going to leave a lasting impression. The game plays wonderfully and looks really, really good. The game runs at 60 frames per second, but there is a catch, as many people have complained of an overheating device if combined with maximum graphics. If you want both the frames per second and the graphics, you'll need a really good phone to support it. Another game that made the jump from PC and console to mobile is the Ark franchise. That's popular for its survival games and is popular amongst mobile gamers, gathering 10 million downloads. Players are stranded on a deserted island that's abundant with dinosaurs, and they must use what they can find to feed themselves, build shelters, and protect themselves from the local wildlife. Now, the Ark series is known for its wonderful visuals, with so many outdoor elements that it brings with its gameplay, and the mobile version isn't any different, adding a whole bunch of those things to do and look at. The visuals in this game are fantastic. From the rich diversity in colours to the outdoor flora and fauna, the mobile edition has got it all. Frames are capped at 30, but that's not so much of a problem for a game like this one. On higher end devices, you'll be able to up the graphical quality and enjoy some pretty landscapes, flora, and of course, dinosaurs.
Defeating that monster might remove this strange wind current seal thingy around the Statue of the Seven.
A game that's had a huge impact on mobile gaming is the 2020 released Genshin Impact. See what I did there? A vast open world with loads to do, plenty of characters and content to look through, Genshin Impact really took the mobile and PC gaming fraternity by storm. Reminiscent of Zelda's Breath of the Wild, in fact many did call it a clone at the time, Genshin Impact proved to the world that fantastic open world gameplay need not only be played on high-end PCs and consoles, but could be ported into the portable format as well. Genshin Impact showed us a world that's gleaming with life, landscapes and fantastic gameplay. When you're on a mission in the game, you can just enjoy running or gliding around its lush landscape and admiring its scenic views. On the most powerful devices, you should get up to 60 frames per second, and what's really interesting about the game is the cross-save feature with PC, which means you can play on the big screen when you're at home and then pick up from where you left off on mobile. This is another game that's a must-play for anyone that's looking for good graphics. So which one of those is your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this list, consider subscribing to Gaming Region and hitting that like button. You've got no idea how much that helps us. As always, see you in the next one.